Good evening, it's time for Hearts of Iron 4. This has been a long time coming, both the game and me streaming it. Embargo was lifted, but lo and behold I actually work. And on top of that I was busy playing DDR tonight, but let's cast that aside and get into the game. Single player, new game, and you get two options, 36 or 39. We're starting at 36, because I want to shape our nation from the very start. And you deceptively get these choice of nations. France, United States, UK, you can read, whatever. I'm going for other countries though, because, well, world is a big place, not nearly as many countries as you can play in Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings, but it was a simpler time in World War II, right? And, well, there's going to be a lot of people playing as the majors, no doubt. UK, Germany, France, Italy, Soviet Union, but much like when I always start up a Europa Universalis game for the first time, I want to jump into Riku. I want to start with something similarly small and pathetic in Hearts of Iron 4. Enter El Salvador. Smallest, crappiest, most pathetic being on, well, all of the Americas. We're going to have our work cut out for us if we want to do what I want to do, and that is put the United States in their place. This is not a particularly long game. I think it ends about, jinx, I actually don't know, is it 1948 or 50 or 50? I don't know. We'll find out eventually. Now, if I was the kind of guy who would actually prepare for streams, I would have had that kind of information ready, but I do not. Means that I don't know if we'll be able to get involved in Europe. I'll certainly try. Well, El Salvador, let's do this. Ironman Mode, well, that's a dangerous thing to do, so we're going to do it. Historical AI focuses, so we can be fairly certain that Germany and Italy are going to go on their rampage, and maybe, just maybe, France won't make it. But that means they'll pick their national focuses in historical order. It does not mean everything is going to go precisely as it did in history. It's grand strategy, you don't know what you're going to get. Let's just jump right into, oh, of course. Cloud or local? We'll go local for now at the very least. Ironman El Salvador, that's a very bog standard name. No, I think Viva El Salvador. Let's do this. So, yes, let's lead El Salvador to their greatness. But how are we going to do this? We've got a lot of things to figure out from the very start. So if you, if you have played as Germany, because of course you have, you know you have all this power, all these factories, all these options. We do not. The world is split up into states, and those states have provinces. Most of the buildings are on a state level. El Salvador has a state. The state contains two provinces. It only has 4 unlocked slots, which is dire, which means only one military factory with which to produce the much needed weapons that we're going to need to take down everything that breathes around us, and that's exactly what we're going to need to do. We also have 2 civilian factories. I don't even think we start with power over both of those. Maximilian Hernandez Martinez, he's the guy in charge. Gonna have to hope he lives long and prospers. Very much gonna have to hope for that. Okay, where to even begin in all this? The tricky thing is I don't know how much you know about the game. I played it a fair bit. I know the concepts. Hell, I even made those tutorial videos on how to play the game. Maybe not how to win, but at least how to play. So, yeesh. What can we go over? Well, we are fascists surrounded by all these democracies. Some are neutral, granted. We go down far south enough, we found Venezuela, fellow fascist. Peru is on the fence, but they are indeed fascist. Completely neutral Bolivia, but there's also Paraguay, who are communist. I like that a lot. They're a bit stronger, they have 2 states, with more unlocked slots, and they actually start with iron, so lucky them. Right, enough blabbing, how about we get down to the action? Action in this game being what to focus on and what to research. Right, research, where do we even go from the start? I need those weapons badly. But there's a lot of things I need badly. Because we are a tiny miner, we only start with 2 research slots. If people have questions about the game, just throw it into chat. Tag it with DDR, Jake, so I can be able to read it. Although, granted, I won't be able to get through everything. Ideally, I would like to start off by getting my industry on the go so I'm able to build up faster, but we have nothing to build up, so forget that. I'm also a big fan of getting engineering done so I can research faster, but I do not have the time to afford on that. So never mind. What can I do? I'm very interested in getting artillery, and I am very interested in getting some better weapons. Thing is, I am torn on those. I'm probably going to have to go with weapons because I simply cannot afford to be making artillery with what little resources that I have. Similarly, I have got to focus on my navy in some capacity, and that means transport ships are going to have to be researched. It's not that we can't build what we need to transport, but we actually need this to be able to do naval invasions. It ups our capacity by 10 from its starting amount of zilch. I mean, it kind of... Actually, I think I'll pass on that and I'll go for submarines instead. I have my reasons for this. So we have free civilian factories. We have a whole one that is free because a number of your civilian factories are used for consumer goods. You can change laws to alter that amount, but you will always have some going away, which means we have a staggering 1 for construction. We're going to dodge that at the moment. So many questions at the start. Where do you even go? Jake, is there a Vatican? No. Jake, do you know if there's an observer mode in multiplayer? Yes. Too soon to start atomic research. This joker right here. If we were to try and do atomic research, it would take us 1500 days. So no, I'm not going down that one. Until what year does the game last? I actually don't know. I think it's changed a few times, so I'm not sure. Jake, are nukes good in this game? They are great. Jake, can you start your own faction? Not yet. It requires a certain focus. So, like I said, we're ignoring the building up our nation right now, because that's simply not going to happen. We can either go political, industrial, naval, aviation, or army. And this is going to surprise you, but I'm actually going to go for naval effort. Make sure you pick correctly, because you're kind of tying yourself in here. The reason I'm going for naval effort is that it's going to give me 3 naval dockyards. That's not too much for a big old major. But for tiny little El Salvador, those 3 dockyards, well, they're all we're really going to have for quite some time. No divisions are in basic training. Our division is garbage. It is 3 men who are given a gun and told, go that way. So our infanteria, they're going to have to shoulder the whole burden here. Good luck. We'll start training up one of them, see how well that goes. We have these guys here. It's tempting to train them all the way up. Very tempting, in fact. See, they start out at trained, which is so-so, but they're also halfway towards the next one. I'm going to start making an army group out of them, give them a commander. Who is this guy? Jose Francisco Soto. Yeah, good luck there, Army 1. If you start nukes now, Jake, you'll get them at 1940. That's earlier than everyone else. Well, then I would have to build up nuclear facilities. That's simply not going to happen so fast. Not so sure I want to exercise these guys because they take a whole heap of attrition that I'm not sure they can actually afford to take. Well, I'll have them do it anyway. So, what else do we have to go down? So we've set our research. Diplomacy, we can ignore that for now. Trade, we'll come back to that. We're not building anything because what we are producing is basic equipment, hardly any of it. And we are sorely unable to really make any of it. The lack of resources punches that down by 90%. So instead of building anything, we're going to go to Big Man USA. Because if we hit up a bit of trading for iron with that guy, I'll give him my civilian factories, and I wish to buy 8 of his metals. Are you sure you want to have all your... Absolutely. We have to go on the rampage if we want to survive and thrive. And I want to survive and thrive. Looking at it, we actually... we have a deficit of infantry equipment, and that's only going to get more deficit as we train these units. Training these units will make them suffer, what is it, 8% attrition? That's a number that's changed throughout development, so I can't be all that sure at the moment. So insufficient resources, that should change when we get our metals from the good old Americas. There we go, there, so much better. Jake, is there a reason you go for Navy over land armies first? Yes. Our ability to wage war is severely limited by the fact that Mexico is far larger and stronger than we are, so we're not going to be touching on that. And we are blocked from going south by this, the Panama Canal, owned by the United States of America. I cannot simply walk through this. Military access does not work in Hoi 4 the same way it does in so many of our other games. If I, for example, were to go to war with Panama and I had military access to the United States, I could not then further deploy myself from here. I wouldn't be able to walk in and invade their land from a province where I have military access. Jinx, this is going to be a long night talking, isn't it? I can feel it. So we're getting that. Okay, 6% attrition for exercising, but I really want to get my units up to scratch against my mighty enemies. We have Honduras and Guatemala, and they have got to go. Guatemala, Honduras. I am not going to be showing off any particular skill in pronouncing these areas, but I'm pretty sure that's par for the course by now. Jake, please turn off daylight. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that one. What else do I have on? Icons, color between country or allegiance. Yeah. And then there's allied battle plans. Not that I have any allies, but oh well. So, poor El Salvador, we can't really afford much. We certainly cannot afford aviation. We haven't even researched any kind of boat to build, with the sole exception, possibly maybe, of yes, convoys. We have good old 5 convoys. We're going to need more than that. There's a lot of things we're going to need. Jake, NATO flags, absolutely not. I can only reach some of the NATO flags, and that's not a good enough reason to roll with that. So, 36, we can be fairly sure that World War is not going to spark anytime soon. The Germans are busy contesting the Rhineland. The old Italians doing their Ethiopian war logistics. Yeah, good luck, you, Ethiopia. I believe in you. Now they come for us, later it will be you. Be that as it may, we're kind of snug over here in the New World. Now I'm really not a fan of colonizing, so it works quite well for me that we are over here. Jake, where did you go on vacation? I was over in Leeds. I was there for a few days. Just got back recently. Are you on historical focuses? Yes. Sorry to repost, Jake. What's the meaning of the red exclamation mark next to the unit logo? Belongs to an army, has no orders assigned. Well, this is very true. I don't feel like giving them any orders just yet, but I will. I'm going to wait for them to get fully trained up first. And they're eating their way through basic equipment, but that's good because eventually they're not going to have basic equipment. I like to think that we'll have proper infantry equipment before too long. I can actually compare the two right here. So basic infantry equipment gives them 20, so they're getting 10% extra defense, double the soft attack, double the hard attack, 50% extra breakthrough, 4 times the piercing. Speed doesn't really come into it when you are being given a gun. Just as reliable and only a touch more expensive to produce, and being able to outproduce my enemies, because we're all fairly crap here, with the exception of Mexico. They're not too shabby. I mean, they have quite a lot of provinces, even though not provinces. I gotta get my head in the Hoi 4 mantra. These are states. On top of that, they aren't too shabby in the resources. They got a touch of iron. They got a heck of a lot of oil. Certainly not America level of oil. They got tungsten as well, which will help them in producing artillery. What I'm saying is, day 1, no CB Mexico is not what we're going to be going down. What I can be going down is conquering Honduras. So in this game you have to have a justification for war in almost all cases. It's going to take us a wee while, but we are going to be getting on that. There are many focuses that can drive down the time and cost of this. I do not have those, so we're going to be waiting 250 days for that. Should be done in 36. And probably as soon as I can, I'm going to get to work on you as well. We're making 1 political power per day. Probably get going on Guatemala as soon as I can. What's the dosh in this game? There is no dosh in this game. The closest thing we have to that is your manpower. And when that runs out, you are out of luck. So there we go, we're all trained up. I'm going to stop these guys from training. They're going to regain their organization. And thanks to them being regulars, they're 25% better. So really it's like I've gained an extra unit, we're that good. With our naval effort done, I am not actually going to pursue this any further. I think I will be going for industrial effort, giving me a 50% bonus to industry. It is so tempting to go down the army route, but I am so poor. I am so unbelievably poor. I've got to go down the industrial effort. The remilitarization of the Rhineland. Germany has stationed troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border in clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles. Just kick in the door, right? In any case, it is no more than the Germans walking in their own backyard. Absolutely. Top stuff there, Neville. I'm sure this won't have any ill effects. So what effect did that have on world tension? It was a 2% increase. I'm not really having any impact on the world tension because who really cares what's happening over here in El Salvador? Jake, can you sign my Hoi 4 Steam code? Well, just bring it to me and I will. So what was the importance of us getting our own focus done? That is to say, naval effort. We got some naval experience. I don't really give a even fraction of a toot about that. But we got ourselves 3 building slots and 3 dockyards in their place. Naval dockyards. Let's get on that industrial effort. It's going to be very important in the future. Now I have the ability to build convoys. It's going to take a while, but it will get done. I'm going to need probably at least 10 of these guys. Not sure on the exact number, but as long as we have some convoys. Currently I have 5, so give it a wee while and we will get some. And once we can, we're going to switch our focus to submarines. Navy's unlike other military equipment, they don't have production efficiency, so we can go straight up with that. And we're going to speed up. This game runs like butter, especially in the early game. So if you consider each of these to be like a day in Europa Universalis, we're clearing a day in a couple of we're clearing a month in a couple of seconds, if even that. Because there's not too much going on for us. And hold your horses there. I gotta disable that Skype there. So we're getting ourselves some convoys. We have a smidgen of army experience, hardly any, but at least we have it. And what we also have are some units, okay? I think I'll be getting as many of these guys lined up as possible. Yes, as possible. This is my manpower. That manpower is not going to go up very much throughout this game. Because even though you conquer land... Well, you know what, why don't we get to that once we conquer something. In the meantime, though, I'm just going to be having these guys ready to roll. I guess I'll also stick you guys on a front line here and draw ourselves a very simple offensive line so that we plow our way into here. Not so sure I'm hot on that offensive line. How are we going to do it? Ah, nice and simple. Jinx, if that could even... It's hard to build a line in such a small scale. Well, at the very least we'll be able to go around and destroy you. Now what about you? There are more war goals to be had. I would love Guatemala as well. Guatemala? I'm no good at this. So whilst we're fabricating claims, the Honduran claim to have liberty and democracy, claim to want peace, but all of these things they pride themselves in are hollow. Their democracy divides the people where it should stand united. Their liberty is not the freedom for the strong to achieve greatness, but for the weak to remain mediocre. We, El Salvadorian, see through these lies, and we can see that this peace on their terms, is a lie as well. Pro Patria has long derided the weakness of Honduran nation, but lately the rhetoric has grown more aggressive. El Salvador stands united under Maximilian, etc. Bit of flavour whilst you are fabricating claims on others. Jake, will you try to exploit the game somehow? I have a few up my sleeves, but I don't think we're going to be using that for these. It would be very unsporting of me. We must rally behind these causes. So our justification will be complete. Chings, it'll take a while, take till November this year. So I'm glad that time can go as fast as it does. So yeah, our manpower is terrible. We need political power to change our manpower laws. Alternatively, we can get some industrial effort. So why am I focusing on industrial effort when I'm not actually researching industry? It's because boom, extra research slot. I only have 2 2. That's nothing, so I need more than that. Also, I can get some extra civilian factories. Not all that useful for me at the moment, but I can trade them away for resources. Because let's face it, I'm not going to be able to build anything at this rate. Pow, submarines, just what I'm going to need, and our infantry equipment. So, might be a little early, but I'm going to research the transport ship, whilst I build up some submarines. Between now and then, though, I have to think what I'm going to be researching on. I would love to get some doctrine on the go, particularly mobile warfare doctrine, but it takes a long time. I mean, a heck of a long time. I think it might be better for me to go down some production efficiency, since that will allow me to get more, and I can research this very quickly. Alternatively, some support battalions. Here's the thing, I want everything, because I have nothing, but I have so little to research with. Support weapons would allow me to fight that bit faster, that bit harder, but if I get my production efficiency up, then I'll be able to produce more goodies, and it'll unlock the rest of these. I'm going to be more or less completely ignoring engineer, completely ignoring air, because I can't afford to build these things. I've already got the one thing, and I'm researching the other thing that I need out of Navy. Sod naval doctrine, we just don't have the Navy for a doctrine. Artillery is extremely tempting. I want artillery. It makes your units so much better. How much better, you might ask? Very, very much better. Giving you all that breakthrough and a whole heap of soft attack. It's not that expensive to make either, and you don't need a whole heap of it to be effective. It'll eat up that iron and... ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Well guys, what do you think? We're either going to go down the artillery route, or we're going to go down the industry route. Jake, engineering gives research speed. What's the reason for not rushing that? Okay, so yes, engineering will give me 2% off the research time, and then a further 3 when I do this. But that's going to chew up about a year and a half of research. Okay, that one's not so bad. But it's going to chew up a lot of research time, and I need the edge here and now. So that's just not going to happen. Industry, you already have a bonus. Well, that's true, but I could use that bonus on synthetic oil. I will get it out of the way nice and quick. There we go, there goes our bonus. The lovely thing about training units before they're deployed is that it doesn't cost you any equipment, so that's nice. These guys are all fully equipped, although how I wish I could give them something better. But the joke is that I don't even have the army experience to be doing that. Alright, these jokers over here in Nicaragua. We're throwing all the justifications that we can out there. The future belongs to El Salvador. Does Guatemala belong to the Guatemalan? Let us ask ourselves a better question. Does the future belong to the Guatemalan? While we strive for greatness and power, they have displayed nothing but hopelessly backwards attitudes, having no history to pride themselves on. They are directionless. Why should they occupy land that can be of use to the great El Salvadorian people? This game is really talking to me. Jake, would industry help more in the long term or the short term? Both, to be honest. Here's the thing. This is my production efficiency. I trust everybody watched my fantastic video about producing equipment. But, oh, that's right, I'm not producing those accursed submarines yet. I should do that whilst I have the excess iron to do so. Whoop-de bloomin' do, I'll get 1 a year. Good thing I'm getting that extra civilian factory that I can trade away for the oil that I'm going to need to produce more submarines. I need precisely 2 submarines, and I need them deployed, well, it doesn't really matter where. Jake, don't you want to produce better weapons? Well, yes and no, mostly yes. Well, we're going to have to do it eventually. The trouble is it hits my production efficiency pretty hard, but we'll allow it since these weapons are so much better. Hell, I got them for a reason, right? Now, at the moment they're just going to replace existing people's old crappy weapons. So, nobody's going to not have a weapon in hand, but some people will have better than others. And really, these are the guys who I want to have... these are the guys I want to have the best ones. So when it comes to recruiting and deploy, you get low reinforcement. I don't want you getting the really good ones right now. And we continue on. Are there formable nations in this game, Jake? No, but you can have coup states that pop out and they'll be different. Jake, how long do you plan to stream? I'll give it a few hours probably. This game has had it a long time coming. Okay, we can hit the speed 5 and go at full speed, even at buttery levels. West Wall going on in Germany. But yeah, I mean, it's peace in our time right now. There's nothing terrifically dangerous happening, right? We're getting ourselves a planning bonus from all this that we got going on. We've got our construction done. We will have yet more construction done. And I'm going to use this extra civilian factory to say, hey, USA, pretty please, give me some oil. I need oil. Okay, sadly, I actually can't even do that because, looking here, 2 of my factories are used in consumer goods. We can check that right here. So we have civilian economy, which means 30% of our factories are put out for consumer goods. And we have a total of 7 factories. We can't use naval or military factories for that, so 30% of 7, choose up 2. 2 of our civvy factories. At least we've got our basic machine tools, so production efficiency will go up. I would love to get these, but I really need better things at the moment. Support equipment wouldn't help me out at this point. Better weapons would help me out. I really want motorized. I want everything. I want trucks. But I also want artillery. It's difficult wanting so many things. I guess we'll just have to focus on having good infantry for now. Unless there's something so much better that I could be looking into, but nah, just focus on having a good infantry, since we're not going to be getting that much else. We've got our guys, we might as well just pop them out and then ignore all that, because I simply do not have the manpower at the moment. We'll get everybody on this. I'm going to attach everybody to the plans that I have made. They're going to get themselves into position, entrench themselves, and get that bonus. So November is not far away from us. And I am a gutsy individual. We're going to claim that Costa Rica is ours as well. If we check our own nation, we're already fabricating on Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. Costa Rica, you've got to go as well. You deserve to be mine. This is demolishing our political power, but let's face it, we need this stuff. Jake, wouldn't artillery be a bad idea since you have no military factories? That is part of the reason that I decided against it. Games are concluded. Excellent. We have some convoys. I think we're going to have to scrap the convoys. The next convoy that we have completed, we are then going to just ditch the idea of making convoys for a wee while and focus entirely on the submarines. So, hey presto, the Spanish Civil War has occurred. This is not a given either way. The nationalists are in with a good fight, but the Republicans could well win. Really, it comes down to who's going to back them. So Germany is most likely going to be sending what they can towards nationalist Spain. Now, wouldn't I love to send some volunteers? We need at least 30 divisions to be able to send volunteer forces. That ain't happening for little El Salvador. A civil war has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the current government in Madrid have issued a pronouncement